Good afternoon, everyone. You're on Dharma Unfiltered, episode 5, coming in with Daniel Shilman from the Bay Area, California, currently at school at Babson College in Massachusetts. I got connected with Daniel, I think, what was it, through like a Facebook group or something initially? Because
Yeah.
Daniel, you were applying to Miami, and Miami was one of your top two options.
Yep. Yeah. I
And
think I was looking
so,
for a roommate. I hit you up because we seem pretty similar, and we just started talking from there.
yeah. I mean, that's what I was kind of looking at. Like, it's hard to find, I guess, like-minded people and people that are entrepreneurial in that. But I
That's right.
truly believe I truly believe in kind of just like the law of attraction, like like-minded people just kind of find like-minded people. So yeah, I guess that's kind of how we got connected. I think I searched you up on LinkedIn. I saw some of the stuff you've done, and we did a phone call, and we've talked a couple of times since. But a lot of the stuff that we kind of believe in pretty much resonates with each other. So, Daniel, if you just kind of want to give a background on you, give the people at home kind of a description, brief or long description, whatever you want,
Sure.
of
Yeah.
where you were born, kind of your upbringing and what you've done.
Sure. So, I mean, I was born and raised in the San Francisco Bay Area. Kind of resided there my whole life, but definitely been interested since middle school and high school, the creative scene, and I kind of started out with that with creating music when I was 13, and from there, branching out into entrepreneurship, into filmmaking, into all like different types of mediums that I feel like I can express myself in. And entrepreneurship and music and filmmaking has definitely been the top three for me. As of right now, they're currently blending into one, which I find really interesting. And I'm currently trying to, just feel my way around it. Throughout high school, I kind of was running multiple businesses at the same time. Uh, I started out with social media marketing in my freshman and sophomore year and slowly branched out to videography, graphic design, web design, and overall digital media, um, while keeping my passion in music and video separately. And then around this time right now, I'm almost fusing them all together into one. And it's kind of interesting to see where it's going to lead. Kind of interesting to see where I want to take it, what I want to do. But I'm being very open with the ideas that I have right now, and just trying to learn more in a different way. I feel like a lot of the time in high school, I was learning more through my entrepreneurship experience and working with other people like that. But now I'm looking to learn a little bit more about myself through social life, which I kind of neglected in high school. So I'm looking to do that here in college, and it's working pretty well out for me. And just going to keep pursuing that way. So that's a little
Okay,
bit about me.
okay. Yeah, so how would you describe what you're doing right now? What are you doing?
So as of right now, I'm currently doing a few things. Obviously, besides the fact that I'm a student, also running digital media company on the side, which I have a few clients where I mentor clients through their businesses. I help out, or I get freelance for graphic design work, social media marketing, and audio engineering. Those are the primarily what we're focusing on right now, as well as on the other side of it, I also do drop shipping, which is basically where you take items from Alibaba,
Mhm.
AliExpress, and you go ahead and you market them through an American brand or any other brand that you create yourself.
How have you done with that? Has that been profitable?
Yeah, so I started that out in April, right as soon as around Corona hit and everybody was staying at home. And it's a long process. It's like it's running a real business. So we still have yet to break even, but there are some months where we do, some months where I don't. It's all up and down, and it's tough at times, that's for sure. But I mean,
Hmm.
at the end of the day, if I look at everything that I've done since then with drop shipping, it's been profitable, and it's taught me a lot more than the money it's brought in, which is great.
Right, and that's the end goal of all of
That's
this.
what I meant by
We're
profitable.
Yeah, and I think that yeah, yes, I think that for people like me and you, like, I feel like if I'm gonna put it bluntly, we're ahead of our class. Like we're ahead of, and we've been told that, it's for a while. I mean, um, in terms of the things that we're doing, and so when we use the word profitable, that doesn't necessarily mean money, right? Like that means literally what the hell we're doing to make ourselves even more better. Like, make it's all about ourselves. and
That's right.
bettering ourselves, and then bringing that value to other people. I
Right.
like that idea. Like it's the experience is profitable in a different way other than just being monetarily profitable.
Absolutely. The thing is though, it's like it's hard to put yourself into perspective, like to compare yourself to others, because at the end of the day, I always have to
Yeah.
reinforce in my own head that everybody's on their own path, right?
Right.
As much as I think that I'm furthering myself in what I'm doing right now because it's going to help me get to where I want to be faster in the future, there could
Hmm.
be some kid right now who, I don't know, doing whatever he wants with his day every single day and be like, the next Mark Zuckerberg. And it has, like, he could have done absolutely zero
Yeah.
throughout his entire high school and gotten further in where I want to be. So
Hmm.
it's just so random. You have no idea. That's why I'm just sticking to what I
And you're
like to
right.
do
Everyone
and doing
has
that.
their own past, so there's no point in comparing. But it's so easy to, and that's a problem with
Yeah,
today's
I know.
society.
I
Like
know.
it's so,
I know.
and just social media only amplifies that. I mean, people
Oh,
have
don't even
always
get me started.
compared. I'm gonna get you started.
Yeah, I
people
know.
people have always compared themselves, but as like I'm a huge like Gary Vaynerchuk fan. Like he's saying,
Hmm.
it's not social media itself isn't the problem. It's like literally the shit that we're putting out onto social media is the problem. Like it's all literally comparing. Like I don't every the first couple weeks here in Miami, every Saturday, all these chicks are South Beach Saturday, same thing every week. Like everyone's trying to flex on each other, going to I went to this club. I don't give a fuck what club you went to. What are you doing? What have you done? Like in real life to
Yeah,
better yourself? Come on, come on.
I think it's so hard to tell because obviously on the surface you want to assume that yeah they're living for the weekend, right? That's what you want to assume. But at the end of the day, you just have no idea, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why obviously it's normal to want to compare yourself to others. That's just natural, and I think that's fine. But I think that if you actually want to get further than somebody else, you don't look at them. You look at yourself. You look inward, and that's
Right.
really hard to have consistently. I feel like for a while I lost that part of myself just to look inward, like in where I had it before. And since I got into college, I've been like really trying to focus on that. How do I get back into that stage? Because I know when I'm in that mental space is when I get the most creative. And it's when I get the
And
most
most efficient, everything.
just everything.
Everything.
It just I feel like great all the time. Not
Yeah.
great in terms of I feel happy, but I feel like I know exactly what I want and I'm working towards it, and that's the best feeling
Right.
in the world.
Right. And it's honestly, I mean, it's hard to be happy all the time. Like, if we're going to be honest, like, there's shit that happens that makes us not happy. And just to be kind of honest and real about that. I read
Absolutely.
something. I was at this like art museum here. I don't go to art museums a lot, but it was like a rainy
Hmm.
Saturday, like nothing else to do. There was this bench and it said, and there's all these different like sentences. I don't know if you saw it on my Instagram. Um, but one of them was like, the only way to stay pure is to stay by yourself. Like it's these crazy, there's a word for them, I can't remember what the word is, but it's basically these ideas that are like put on paper that kind of are there, that are true in a sense, but have never really been said. And that one I was like, shit, like, I mean, because definitely when you're in a room with someone else, even just the presence of someone else is somewhat shifting the way that your mind thinks,
That's
which
not a
is,
bad thing. And
no, it's not necessarily
yes,
a bad thing.
it's interesting you put it in the sense of pure because I know coming into college I felt that a lot because to be honest most of high school I kind of spent on my own. I was doing my own thing. I was really happy in that sense.
Mhm.
But I got here and I realized how like far away I am from like that social life world. Not necessarily like, that sounds really weird in terms of like I used to spend a lot of my time like just doing the work that I was passionate about.
Like
And
doing the same things that most kids are doing at our age, right? Like,
what do you mean?
is that kind of what you're referring to when you say like the social life world?
I'm
um
just like experimenting with just like just yeah, just like enjoying myself more with other people versus enjoying myself with myself.
okay.
Because that's a big change for me, and I'm
Yeah.
happy I'm doing that change. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at it now, and I don't really want to have that pure, because that's not exciting, and that's not you're never gonna. I guess you're not gonna learn more
It's
about
not as
yourself if you don't.
dynamic. Yeah.
You're not gonna learn more about yourself if you're just gonna stay with yourself. You're gonna
Hmm.
learn more about yourself with other people, and
Right.
I'm kind of realizing that a little bit now, and I'm trying to like further myself into that direction.
But it's totally got to be the right people. Like there's definitely something to be said about I've been pretty selective about the people that I'm friends with. Like, I talked about this on my first podcast, but basically, like freshman year of high school, I came in and I was talking to all these different kids and trying to be friends with everyone, and I was just trying to be like popular and that, and then like now I only have like 5, 6, 7 friends total yet, like in Wisconsin, that I still talk to on a regular basis, and those are the people that I'm going to hang out with when I get back. So it's like I get here and I'm like, I feel like I need to learn from these past 4 years and kind of be able to be selective, because there's a lot of kids here, a lot of smart kids, a lot of not smart kids, whatever we want to determine as smart. But it's really tough because it's kind of a dilemma. It's like, do I want to, and do we want to go out to these clubs and parties with like a shit ton of people and have like 10-second conversations with everyone, or would we rather hang with like a couple people and have
Yeah.
realer, better conversations?
I
It's
think
a dilemma.
I think it's important though. I think it's important to address the fact that there is a time and place for everything, especially having those 10-second conversations. Yes, they may not be like uh, what you want to do like for a long time in terms of like how you want to spend your time communicating with people, but I think it's really important that you at least try to get in that, like, yeah, I just don't want to skip over that phase in my life. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it's an important one. And I want to give it the respect that it deserves and go through it naturally. And I don't want to like, because I think there is obviously like what's it called, like there is something good that comes out of that 10-second conversation, regardless of
Well,
it,
you never know who it could be either. Like,
right, not only that, but it's like that's a part of life that I just also want to experience,
mm-hmm.
regardless if it's a shitty part of it or not. I think it's something, I think it's interesting, and I think that's like I just want to go through that. And I don't really want to necessarily say like, okay, this is good for me, I'm going to do this because that's the right thing to do right now. I kind of just want to like go with the flow a little bit and see where it takes me. And that's kind
Yeah,
of, again, like reiterating what I said before, that's kind of like what I've been trying to do since I came to
yeah.
Mass.
And I think that it all comes back to yourself. Like, if you're like if you're true to yourself, like, you can pretty much do anything and it's going to be somewhat fun. Like, you can go
Yeah,
to a club,
that's
you
very
can go,
true.
it's literally, you know uh reality is completely based on perception is reality, right? Like, it's
Yeah,
all,
that's
and
true.
perception, in my opinion, perception is a choice. Like, it's like we can perceive things in a positive, negative, like in all these different ways. Like, it's
Hmm.
completely our choice how we want to
Yeah,
perceive different situations.
definitely. I mean, it's always interesting to see how you react to certain situations when you, again, like when you're alone and you're like reacting to something you're doing versus when you're with others. Because
Mhm.
when you're with others, I feel like you're either going to be like retrieving back into yourself and being comfortable with who you are and kind of just like being shy from everybody else, or you're just going to completely let yourself go. And I find it interesting to see like which one I'm going to be doing at a certain time.
Yeah, and that's how I determine, like, I don't know. I just I when I think of the word real, like, I'm trying to be like, when I think real, like if I'm trying to be real, I'm trying to be the same person that I
Hmm.
am when I'm with, 2 or 3 of my best friends as I am at a party. Like, I'm just
Well,
trying to
then
be me, you know?
here's the thing though. There are different parts of yourself, right? Like for example, like, look at actors. Just because one actor plays like Indiana Jones and that same guy plays a completely different role doesn't mean he's a different person. It's just different sides of himself. That's
Mhm.
also something important to recognize,
Yeah.
in my
As long
opinion.
as long as you're like still being yourself and not like not putting on a show, not trying to be someone else, I guess.
If it comes from yourself, then absolutely. But
Yeah.
that's so interesting. It's interesting how many parts of yourself exist that you don't even know about yet.
Yeah. And you uncover those parts of yourself by possibly having those 10-second conversations. You're
Exactly.
doing the things that you're not necessarily comfortable with.
Exactly.
Or I guess that
Exactly.
you don't, not comfortable with, but like that you don't necessarily want to
Just
like
getting
do
out of your
at the
comfort
moment.
zone.
Right, definitely.
Yeah.
How often, like, because I would say it's hard, and I would say that it's not very often that I'm able to have conversations like this. How often are you able to? Because a
Um
lot of times when I start to talk about shit like this, it just, right over a lot of people's heads, and as bluntly as I can put it.
I don't really know. I don't really remember. I mean, I think it just either happens in the moment and it's great, or it doesn't, and that's also great. It just I'm not necessarily looking to have like again, these conversations are great, but there's always something special in each individual person and what they say.
Right, right, right,
And I think there's something to be heard from everyone, which is why I kind of like try my best to like listen to everyone as much as I possibly can
right.
and gain interest out of what they're saying and all that and find meaning in what they're saying versus trying to like say, okay, this is the objective thing of meaning. Let's talk about the objective thing of meaning. Let's just talk about you. Let's just talk about me and see if we can find meaning in there.
Yeah, yeah. Because when sometimes like I sometimes find myself falling into a trap where it's like I develop these kind of like philosophies in my head and these ideas in my head that
Yeah.
I feel like I have to like go off of.
Same,
But
man.
it's
Same.
just, but we just need like, it's just, we're so young and like we have so much, we feel like because we've done a lot of shit,
Yeah.
because like we just feel like we need to like almost just forget about our like, like,
Yeah.
do you read a lot?
You know, I try, but I'm like, I just know that's not a medium that I'm gonna get into anytime soon. So
I
no.
agree. I agree. I try. I mean, I've read a couple books, but it's just, I've always been I've always been the kind of person that's just like, I'd much rather practice than study.
Mm-hmm.
And there's
Totally
a
agreed.
time and place for
Totally agree.
both, but
I think
like,
so as well. Yeah.
I read a book called Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically because he was on the Gary V show,
Yeah.
YouTube show. And so that's how I kind of like got introduced to him. But basically the idea is what we were talking about is like, it's like stoicism, like stoic.
Yeah.
So basically like all the great Greeks and gods and goddesses and all these great athletes and artists, all the greats in history, regardless of what they did or regardless of their religion or whatever, they were able to find stillness. They were able to basically like if you're an MLB hitter up to bat, like that ball looks like a mattress. Like you're completely in the zone. And it's basically
Yeah.
it's like forgetting about your ego. It's forgetting about everything except literally what's in front of you.
Yeah.
And like
Mm-hmm.
people just need to, it's hard. um I've been thinking about how the hell do we get this message across, and I think this is it. I think this is like we just have to use the platforms provided to us.
Yeah. Or we create our own, like what you're doing with this.
Right, right, right. Yeah.
Um, I think like talking about a few things here. First of all, talking about the
I
idea of
kind of
like
bounce around sometimes.
yeah, talking about like the idea of stillness and like time is really interesting because I feel like, for example, for the artist's like I feel like when an artist does something meaningful, it means that they've made the viewer or the person experiencing their art forget that time is a thing. That's
Mhm.
my opinion of what it is, and I think
Yeah.
that's true in a sense. And then when I look back at like Gary V, my opinion of Gary V is that the guy has such a big ego that he loves to talk and just spat a lot of meaningless shit with 10% of actually something useful. In my opinion, I think the guy like he loves his voice so much that he won't even answer somebody else's question. He'll give a 10% truthful response, and the rest of the 90% is just filled with whatever he wants to say that's not necessarily pertaining to the question. That's why I kind of have a problem with Gary V in that sense.
Okay. Yeah. No, I definitely kind of get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but literally, I guess he's like, like during like the grind. I mean, when I think of Catch Up Please and like what like the when I think of like the grind years, these are all the grind years. It's still the grind, but like I'm thinking back to like junior year. Like every single day, I would I would like switch off every day, like eating breakfast and watching like Gary V or Joe Rogan, like
Yeah,
every
dude.
single day, and that
Dude,
shit would get me pumped for the day.
I
Um,
totally get it.
yeah. Well, so tell me about Babson. Tell me about, I guess, kind of what classes you're taking, what you're majoring in, what you think of the entire experience so far.
So far, Babson has done a fantastic job of marketing something that's not necessarily what it was. Looking at Babson from the outside, I'm like, okay, I'm an entrepreneur. This is like a good school to go to for entrepreneurship because they don't take the same approach to other schools. I'm already taking like 90% of the classes I'm taking right now are in my major already. Not many GE
And what's
classes.
your major?
Entrepreneurship major
Okay.
is just really centered around that. And
Yeah.
I was like told like, oh, I look to my left, I look to my right, entrepreneur sitting near me. Come here, not at all that. I haven't met. Going down this road of what I'm about to say seems like I have the biggest ego.
No,
It's just
just say it. Just
I just
say
haven't met
what
a
it
lot of
is.
like-minded people that are looking for the same things that I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when they say they want to be an entrepreneur, it means they sold bracelets. I'm like, you know what? That's great if you like selling bracelets, but I mean, that's not necessarily what I was talking about. Um, and
Talking about
just
scaling,
that
you're talking about doing shit like long term, like
I
big
know,
things.
like
Yeah.
again, if making bracelets is your passion, then fuck yeah, you are more successful than me because you've clearly figured out something way more sustainable than I have. The
But
things that I'm doing,
why the hell are you paying so much money to go to the top entrepreneurship school in the country to do that?
well,
Like,
then I get into the sense of like the whole point of why I want to do entrepreneurship is like I want it as a structure to my creative ideas. At the end of the day, that's what it is. If you have creative ideas, there's no way you can actually succeed if you don't have a structure to make yourself succeed, right? That was
mm-hmm.
my idea of going entrepreneurship. I'm kind of questioning that now
Like
because
what the hell do you learn in entrepreneurship major? Like what do you do? Like
it's a great question. I mean, I take this one class every freshman is required to take. It's called Foundations of Management Entrepreneurship. Basically, you're given a certain amount of money, you go create a startup with like a group of kids, and that's just what you do. That's just the class. I think it's a fantastic idea. I just hate the way it's taught.
mm-hmm.
Um,
And how is it taught? It's taught like you're an employee working for the company? Or
no,
like
it's taught like a lecture, and then
oh
with a
yeah.
little bit of
That's
work
true.
time in between, like
Yeah,
very
yeah.
little. But 90% of class is lectures, and I just want to go like fucking shoot myself in the face because it's just such an. I came to college because I wanted to actually be interested in what I was learning. I am not interested in what I'm learning.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be like high school where I just get through it.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, I didn't know. I definitely know what you're saying. What other classes though?
Yeah, so I'm taking that class. I'm taking business law because I just have to.
I
Nothing
like
interesting.
that class. I don't mind that class.
I like the topics that are
I have a good
discussed.
professor too. That
Okay, then
helps.
yeah, that's probably
Yeah.
what it is. Taking a writing class. Horrible professor. Um, what else? And then I'm taking astronomy. Love the class. I just can't stand actually showing up because it's the material or not the material. The material is really interesting. It's just taught online and it completely ruins it.
Astronomy. Okay. Yeah. What do you think of online?
Oh, horrible,
Do you have any
horrible, horrible.
in-person classes? Because we have like, I mean, I have 5 classes and like
Hmm.
I have 2 classes in person once a week.
Really? Okay, yeah, yeah.
But it's like, yeah, it's barely
It
anything.
depends on the day. For my Foundations of Management Entrepreneurship, the FME class, that is once a week in person, once a week online. Then for my writing class, it's in person twice a week. And for
Mhm.
my business law class, it's mostly in person. And then for my astronomy class, fully online.
Yeah. I guess when you ask me what I think about the original class and
Yeah.
stuff, like I don't like I'm like I'm trying to like just talk to a lot of people that are like older than me that have done it, that are entrepreneurs, that are business owners. And actually, just earlier today, I was talking to a guy named Jake.
Hmm.
Uh, he has like a financial advising. He's like 24. He went to UW Oshkosh in Wisconsin.
Okay.
And I asked him, I said, as I've asked so many people, I said, how much of the stuff that you learned, he was like a finance major, real estate, and something else minor.
Hmm.
And I said, well, how much have you actually like applied from shit that you learned in college? And he said, so not much at all. That's it. And so
Yeah.
that's the answer that I just keep repeatedly getting. So I'm like, okay, if we are here right now as freshmen and we have like the choice, like we already know, like I just find so much value in learning shit from people that have already done it. Like if we already know that it's not necessarily going to be super applicable, then why don't we like learn from that? And but that's what I'm trying to figure out right now is like I'm trying to figure out um, what's going to actually help me after college. and what am I going to also enjoy learning? Because it's definitely not marketing, management, nothing general business like that. I don't even know if it's business.
Well, I mean, think of it this way in the sense that we all know college is not for the education, right? It's for mainly social life and it's for growing as a person.
And
That's the
connect.
biggest part of
Yeah,
college.
yeah,
Academics is like the side thing you have to do.
yeah.
Um, so I mean, I think of it like you're in a bubble where everyone is looking for that same thing, so it's a lot easier to grow because everyone's growing at the same time.
Mhm.
It's just
Except the majority of people aren't looking for the same thing. The majority of people are looking for jobs on Wall Street. Like they're looking for jobs, and like yes, everyone. I agree. Like everyone is worth talking to. Everyone has something to
yeah.
say. Everyone has something of value. But it's also a lot. Like I just think like our conversation right now is a lot
Mm-hmm.
more, I guess, worth having, if I have to put it that way.
Mm-hmm,
Like
mm-hmm.
some of the other conversations, like
Yeah, I mean, a lot of conversations can be repetitive with different people,
right.
and that just says something, I don't know what it says, but it says something.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll put it out there. Sheep.
yeah, that's a great topic. But I mean, then you go and talk about like, okay, what are your goals after college?
As in like talking to the other people.
No, no, like you said, if it's not management, it's not marketing, it's not Wall Street, then what is it?
For me,
Yeah.
um, I guess right now it's about scaling Catch Up Please to the
There we
best
go.
of my ability. Of course, like I'm putting everything I can into it every single day. Like, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and what I love about it is that it's all about autonomy. Like it's all about like I just love. I'm not a control freak at all, but I like being able to make decisions and like have this entire or like half like I have my one business partner and we work super well kind of in tandem, but to
Yeah.
really be able to um, have my own ideas and see them actually come to fruition. There's nothing better, and you can attest to this. Like, there's nothing better than literally being able to see and taste the fruits of your labor. Like
Oh, I know. I know.
nothing like it. But so I guess that's the short term. And I hate I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket, and that's why I'm in college.
Yeah.
But that the idea is to scale that,
Mm-hmm.
eventually sell and use the money to invest in startups that are in size scale, kind of similar to us, especially with young people. Startups that are solving real problems in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Also, kind of use the money to start my own new startups and organizations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And aside from business, I guess right now, again, like my goals, I was just talking to Jake earlier, like my goals, and I think most people's goals are constantly changing. Like I would
Mm-hmm.
just about like 3-4 years ago, early in
100%.
high school, I'm a completely different person than I am now. So
Oh,
like
100%.
I'm not going to say my goals are anywhere near what they are now for 4 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, I'm doing this podcast right now,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I'm trying to kind of get my message out to as many people as possible. And there's a lot of kids, there's a lot of people that are going to hear this, and I've had a decent amount of the kids that the people that I'm targeting everyone, but like a lot of the people that I've had on, all the people that I've had on right now are guys or people from that are like college age kids,
Mm-hmm.
and so therefore that's a lot of like the people that I'm targeting, and there's a lot of people that will hear this, and there's some people that will understand it, and those
Mm-hmm.
people have hit me up and said, I really like the shit that you're talking about, and that's the whole that does it for me. Like that's great. Like if people can actually take value from this, but there's a lot of people that just won't get it, and that's okay too, because um, I'm going on a little bit of a tangent here, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, there's this guy that I know from that I met at the Coconut Grove Farmers Market down here, um, and his Instagram handle is Captain Planted, and he just posted something. He's like, not everyone may not be ready to hear your message, but you can always plant a seed.
Mm.
You can always plant that, and it's their choice whether they want to water it. And
Yeah, that's for sure. I even feel weird coming on this podcast because I was thinking about it before I came on of like what do I have to offer in the sense of like what perspective do I have to offer to the people that are like listening and to you? Because at the end of the day, if we look at like, for example, probably the reason I'm here is because, entrepreneurship experience, right? That's like the thing that hooked you onto me. And I think that's
Well,
great.
that's the thing. Yeah, that's just naturally how we connected. But there's
Yeah.
so much more, I guess.
But I mean, I look at that and it's like, there's not much to it. Yeah. If I look at
Just
like,
the
cause I'm
mindset.
18, if I look at, cause I'm 18, sure, it looks good now, but I have to keep on like consistently staying 10 miles ahead of everybody else, or at least of like what's expected of me now. If I actually want to
Don't
get to where I
that's
want to be
going
looking.
back to comparing.
I know. And I just realized I just did that. Oh,
No, the
it's
reason why
natural. It's
like I
hard.
just look at like entrepreneurship is like a lot of kids will like look at entrepreneurship like, oh, well, that guy's going to be rich. He's doing it to make money. He's doing it. I just look at it as literally a mindset and a lifestyle. Like the shit, like we are able to talk about hell of a lot other things, at a completely different level than everyone else because of the shit that we've already experienced and just the way that our minds naturally work at this point because we have to. Like,
Yeah. I also like for the majority of high school, like I genuinely thought it was fun because it gave me an edge.
yeah,
On that goes back to comparing, but it does. It gives you an edge. It's like,
sure.
why do some people wake up at 4 a.m. and work out? Because it gives you an edge on everybody else that's sleeping. It feels good, totally normal.
Yeah, yeah.
When I was running that digital media stuff in high school, every time I would be like going to client meetings, I would be like doing like just like cool stuff, like going like on like videography or photography like adventures for my clients.
Mm-hmm.
That gave me an edge, and that made me feel like it made me feel special, and it was awesome. And I want to continue finding how to get that edge for myself because I think that's like a great way to like connect with inside yourself.
Yeah. And that edge isn't necessarily like that edge can be anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like this podcast isn't making any money, but is the edge is because I like doing it.
Exactly.
Like the edge,
Exactly.
it's what makes you happy. Like I got like when we were in I totally agree with like the edge thing. Like in high school when we were starting this, I'm thinking there's not a single kid here that has a business other than my business partner. There's not a
Mm-hmm.
single kid here that has two businesses. I'm the only one with two businesses, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, but not like fuck that. Like I would like that makes me sound like a fucking douchebag back then. I trust me, I did not portray myself like that, but trust me, like that's what was going through my head sometimes, and it's
Mm-hmm.
natural. It's
It
natural.
is.
Then I get down here, and it's like I've met some like kids that are doing this is comparing again, but they're doing bigger things. Like they're doing things at a larger scale. But then I think that I just naturally start to compare. It's horrible. But I think, well,
Yeah.
they had so much more money. Their parents gave them money, which is true. But forget it. Like
I think,
we're
yeah.
all different. We're all on different paths.
Yeah. I think it's like part of like just being young to compare yourself to and like compare yourself to others and think everybody's watching you. That's why I feel like a lot of, teenage angst comes from because everybody you think everybody's watching you. You get a haircut, you put a new hat on, you put like makeup on for the first time. It's like you think everybody's gonna care because you think everybody's watching you.
Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, nobody does. They're all doing their own thing because everybody thinks that everybody's watching them. So they're obviously all in their own worlds.
Yeah.
And I think when you're able to realize that not just objectively, but like for yourself, and that's something huge. Realizing something for yourself
Mhm.
is when you can actually take it into fruition and start living by it truthfully. And that's when it comes down to like once you realize that nobody really cares about what you're doing, man, you're just on your own.
Mhm.
And when you really realize that in your own head is when I feel like you're going to make the most progress because that's again when you look at, instead of outside, you're going to start looking inside, and that's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I'll steal another quote from my market guy, Lance. His name is.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "The meaning of life is to find your worth. The purpose of life is to give it out to others."
Mm.
Like it's like and it's they're both kind of constant. Like our worth or like what our value and the things that we're good at, the things that we like to do, the things that we feel naturally inclined to do, those are ever changing. And so to just constantly be in that growth mindset and be able to take those things and spread at the end of the day it's just positivity. It's just everyone's here on earth trying to be happy. I mean, that's what most people would say.
Yeah.
So just kind of doing everything that we can do every single day to do that, to spread that.
Yeah. What am I like, if we're talking about like, the meaning of life quotes, because those are obviously like overrated as fuck, but I mean, I'll still say something about it. Um, there's this quote by Dan Harmon, the guy who created Rick and Morty, and he says the meaning of life is everything. And what he means is like, what I think he means is that like, this is the meaning of life. What I'm about to do in 10 minutes will be the meaning of life. Everything is the meaning of life, because that what you're doing right now is the center of your universe, and you should give it 100% of your attention, because you never know what you're going to get from it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the best way to live your life in the now. Like, I always like to use this like analogy when I eat junk food, because it's like the only way to ever enjoy junk food is when you're actually eating it, because before you want it, obviously, and after you feel like shit and you regret it. So the only way you actually ever enjoy it is when you're actually eating it.
Very in the now.
Yeah, it's like there's no other way to, like, you have no other option but to enjoy it as you're biting.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And that's what I try to do with like everything I do. Like, even like with this conversation, you have 100% of my attention. That's exactly what I'm trying to give you, because I want the same in return. And that's how you have like something meaningful, I guess, in some way.
100%. Um, so when you going back to junk food, are you pretty like health conscious like most of the time?
Um, a lot has changed since I got to college.
It's gotten
Um,
worse or better?
oh, it's gotten worse for sure.
Really?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been exercising a lot more,
Mhm.
but my diet has been like very inconsistent. Like,
How's
there
that?
would be,
Do you have the like a meal plan like with the
yeah,
diamond?
yeah. So I got a regular meal plan.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not what gets me. What gets me is at 11 p.m. everything's closed. I Uber Eats. That's what gets me.
God, yeah, yes.
But I mean, yeah, the food I eat here is like mostly fine. It's just those midnight things, like when I'm just doing stuff and I'm
Yeah,
hungry, is like when it gets me. And I'm like, I might process like, what?
yeah,
I'm in college. I'm young. I don't care. Like,
yeah,
and I'm still gonna think that, because I just don't care right now. Like, I'm totally fine with eating shit food.
yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I guess I tried. Like I just feel like I totally believe like if you're eating the right shit, if you're eating, if you're getting the right amount of nutrients, plants, you're eating the earth, like that sounds very vegan. I'm not vegan, but like if
Mm-hmm.
you're getting the right shit, you're treating your body right, your mind's gonna be right. I truly believe that. And like
Mm-hmm.
not to say it like I think that message needs to be spread more so to the people that like aren't like mentally there, like aren't like mentally completely healthy, I guess, because you a lot of the time you look at the shit that they're eating and it's just shit, and they start to as soon as take the processed food, the processed sugar. Like I went off of added sugar for like this was like sophomore year. I went off for like 3 months and I lost 30 pounds. I was like
Holy crap.
I was fat, like going into like the beginning of sophomore year, and I said, okay, I'm done with this. Like it kind of runs in my family. Like we
Mm-hmm.
kind of do have like the fat gene. I said, okay, I'm not letting this. It's completely under like in my control, and that
100%.
it just like I feel like discipline and progress starts with what you eat a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
time. And so if you're like putting time and effort into that, it'll kind of like transpire into like your day to day like actions, so what you choose to do.
It's an interesting perspective.
Um, but I still try. I'm pretty much like weekdays, pretty hardcore like with what I eat, and then weekends I eat whatever.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Makes total sense.
yeah. Um, where are you at with investing?
I never got into that world.
Not at all. I would think
No, I never got into it. My
making
friends from
pretty
back
good
home.
money though right now with the agency.
Say it again.
Are you making good money right now?
Yeah, because the great thing about the agency is that there is no startup costs, and there is no like, if
Cost.
I all the money I get is profit,
Right.
because the only thing I'm spending is my time.
Mm-hmm. And do you
So
have people with that? Like, do you have guys that are or people that are helping you?
I used to for bigger clients, but I mean, clients come and go, and that's something I have to realize, and it's something I'm never going to get used to.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I just like last month I lost my biggest client.
Who was
Yeah.
that? If you can say.
Say it again.
Who was that? If you can say.
What was it? Yeah. So we were editing audio. TV shows, when they shoot TV shows, they have guys with the boom mics.
Yes. Yes.
We were editing the audio that was going to be transmitted for a TV show. Um, and yeah, so I had a team of people. It was me and two other dudes. And we just had to like sift through audio and follow the transcript, because a lot of the times in these places, people say cut, people are coughing, people are, can you hear me? Can you not hear me? All that shit. It was our job to stick to the transcript, make it seem like everything was seamless. There was
Mhm.
nothing in between. Like, you couldn't even tell. And it didn't last. It lasted maybe 8 months. It was a big client, like it was my biggest like monetary client that I've had. Um, and it ended. He said, "Yeah, we're like, my team and I are just, you're 17, man. My team is like
Was
feeling
it
threatened
going
by
well
you."
for 8 months
Was it going well? It was going well in the beginning, and then it slowed down in June, July, and
on your
then
end?
no, never on my end. My end was always like on top of shit. It was
Okay.
on their end because they had to give us the episodes, right? They were shooting them as we were going, and they stopped kind of giving it to us, which kind of like made me like nervous. And I now look back at it, I'm like, I know why. And he
But
told
why the
me,
fuck it shouldn't? That pisses me off. Like, if your quality of work is that of a 35-year-old, then it shouldn't matter that you're 17, 18.
well, it's interesting because the guy I was working with, his team were the people that I was actually like, they were the ones listening to the stuff I was submitting and all that shit. And they knew that I was 17. They felt the entire time threatened because I was taking their job as a 17-year-old. And because of that, they said, oh, yeah, the quality is shit. Now, the quality was shit, not on my fault. Why would you record a TV show through Zoom and Skype when people's
What?
phones are ringing and, audio is shit? People are talking in the background. I can't take that out. If
Yeah.
you record it on a shit quality, I will give you shit quality in return.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
record it on good quality, I'll give you good quality in return. So it was a combination of, because they were recording on like shitty audio shit,
Uh-huh.
that as well as my age was just another factor into it.
Another excuse. Yeah.
That's always been the case though with everything that I've done. I've had to lie about my age since the beginning. That's why I have my beard always with stubble, because I have to look of age.
Yeah.
It's not as much of a problem now because I used to have to hide acne and all that stuff. But throughout all of high school, I always had a beard because I never knew when a client would call and say, come into the office, I want to meet you. You have to look, you're like, you're 22, you have to look like that age if you actually want people to respect you.
Yeah.
And that sucks, but it is. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I was just, learning to deal with it in high school. And I think part of that is what gave me the edge of thinking like, oh, I get to like pretend that I'm somebody else. And that's cool.
Yeah. Or pretend that
It's
you're.
it's like acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you think like a 23-year-old, you're going to do things that the normal or not even normal, more than a 23-year-old would do. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. No. So are you still doing the social media stuff?
Yeah. I actually got a client yesterday. So
What do
things are
you
still
like?
rolling for
Do you
that.
just manage all their social media accounts?
So it definitely depends on what people want. For this account that I got yesterday, it was just engagement campaigns that they're looking for, which
Yeah.
means that they're just looking for likes and comments. Other times, clients are looking for, hey, I want sales for my social media. I'm like, great. That's a whole other process that can take months to build. It just depends on what people are looking for. If they're looking just to build their brand from the outside in terms of followers and likes and all that shit, or if they're actually looking for sales, because they're completely
So
different
where do
things.
you think that you get your quote unquote expertise in social media?
So when I was 13, when I was telling you I was making music,
Yeah.
uh, this is 2015 summer. Um, I made an Instagram account where I was posting that music, and within 6 months, it hit over 20,000 followers. And I didn't spend a dime on any advertising. And I took kind of like the model of what I did there, and I applied it to like creating a social media marketing agency where I was able to do it with different accounts for different people. That's
Yeah.
kind of where it started.
Okay. Okay. So if you were to give me one piece of advice, because I pretty much run like the most of the catch up please social media and
Mm-hmm.
basically the entire I'm gonna tell everyone the business plan right here. It's to build an audience through sales primarily at farmers markets. So we're gonna, get people engaged on Facebook and Instagram primarily. Twitter's dead. Um,
Twitter's dead.
Twitter's dead. um, and so we're basically going to just build an audience to the point where, and people that have tried the product to the point where once we kind of have a large enough audience, we're going to bring that audience to Whole Foods shelves, to Thrive Market Online, to all these different kind of bigger platforms. Now, these bigger platforms we could potentially get with now, but we're not necessarily going to keep our velocity off the shelf because nobody knows about us. We have like 530 followers. Like, so, and I guess how we're going to build that again is pretty organically, I guess, through farmers markets and getting people on there following. And we will run some campaigns, I think, but pretty much trying to do it as organically and low cost as possible because I think we're able to do that. Do you have any kind of pieces of advice for that?
In terms of growing your social media?
Yeah. And people that are actually like relevant, like not just, ghost followers. Like,
Yeah. I mean, that's huge. It's trying to create hype around your product. That's really hard. And that's kind of what I did with my music. I somehow created hype around the music. And it's kind of figuring out who your audience is. And once you figure out kind of like who you're trying to get, it's to try to make hype around what they find exciting with your product, obviously. Are you guys doing Facebook and Instagram advertising?
well, we're not right now, but like we have in the past for like when we get into retailers, sometimes we'll just do like a radius thing. Um,
Yeah.
what I would probably use it for is like once I get product down here, which probably is not looking like until the spring. But once we have product here, like I would just do like I would just run like $100 Facebook ad, Instagram ad, and just do like a radius of like all of Miami and say come to the Coconut Grove Farmers Market just to kind of push traffic through that.
Yeah.
Just
So I mean, yeah, there are definitely ways in which you can build a dedicated following on Facebook and Instagram. Not in the sense that you're going to get a lot of followers, but in the sense that, let's say at some point you advertise to 100 people. You're going to get, 50% people actually doing something with your advertisement.
more engaged.
Exactly. And that's huge. Not necessarily the amount of followers you have, but the quality in your followers, as you were saying before. And I know from an analytical perspective, the way to do that is through just understanding Facebook Business Manager and Facebook algorithm and learning to, take it like 7 ads, see what works, see what doesn't work. If your face works better in an ad and my face doesn't, you got to cut my ad and you have to focus on yours. And it's building it slowly through the model that I use for my dropshipping site and for the model that a lot of like other businesses use when they advertise on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
It's basically that.
Okay. Yeah. So just really caring about the content and making sure that it's relevant to the end consumer and the people that we're trying to.
Exactly. And just familiarizing yourself with how to use Facebook Business Manager and how to take advantage of more than just like, a radius or how old you are and things like that. Because at the end of the day, my target market isn't built on how old you are. I mean, obviously it takes these things into consideration, like how old you are and where you're from and your age. But what is mainly built off of, and the interesting part I find, is your interactions with Facebook and Instagram. How likely are you, when you scroll past an ad, to actually interact with it and buy something from that ad?
Yeah.
That's the information that I'm paying for, not how old you are and where you live.
It can't just be a picture of a bottle of ketchup.
Exactly.
Ketchup is ketchup, but if you get possibly an influencer or someone that has somewhat of a following behind it, there's that, and then there's also just, I mean, TikTok is obviously booming right now. I'm personally not a fan. Like everyone's saying, well, it doesn't matter if you're a fan, you got to get on it. But I don't know how relevant it is to my market. Like what do you think of TikTok in general, I guess?
So I don't have it either, if that's what you're saying. I don't have it either because I didn't want to like have another. I'm already addicted to Instagram as it is. As much as we don't want to say it, I am. And I don't want to have another just app take much of my time up.
Yeah.
But I think influencer marketing is really interesting. I have no idea how it works, and I'd love to know how it works. But I mean, that's basically what TikTok is.
I know a couple of guys that have like an influencer marketing like agency.
Yeah.
Can connect you with them, but
That'd be awesome.
But what do you mean? Like it's pretty to my understanding, it's pretty much like you pay them a certain amount to post on their story or to post on their like to do an actual post.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
yeah.
just interesting to find like the right people to do that for, because obviously they have their own market. They have their own
Some
following.
TikTok dude our age that has a bunch of 12-year-old girls as his followers isn't necessarily our target. Like we were talking
Exactly.
about like the launch pad here, like the entrepreneurship center here, and he was saying you got to find like like moms that are like into healthy eating, like mom influencers that,
Yeah.
because those are a lot of your buyers, like upper middle class moms that want to give their kids top of the line, food.
Yeah.
Um, all right. So it's 2:20. Do you got to go now, or are you good
I
either way?
got like maybe another a couple minutes just to wrap things up.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess then to wrap things up, is there anything else? Yeah. You send me your email address, your handles, whatever you want, and I'll tag it under the
Yeah.
podcast. Is there anything else you'd like the listeners to hear?
Um, if you're
I guess
down,
especially kids our age, I think. Um,
yeah, I mean, if there's anyone listening that's our age, um, I would just, I have no advice in the sense that I have no idea what I'm doing. All I'm doing is I'm just doing what I like. And I
mhm.
think that's like really underrated. And I would just suggest you just do what you like and figure
Forget about
it out how
labels.
to scale through there.
I don't even like to call myself an entrepreneur. I'm just building a ketchup business. I'm just doing a podcast. I'm just doing, like you said, just do what you like.
Exactly. You're just doing what you like. And I think the focus should be there versus anywhere else. If there's any focus you should have, it's figuring out how to take what you like and scale. Like if you like doing something, then make as much of it as you can, because that's the best part of it. Is just doing what you want as much as you want of that. And I know I'm being very vague, but it's only because I don't want to like provide like the wrong information to
Right,
somebody.
of course. And it sounds cliche, but I totally agree with you because we're here once. We have literally one life. So, like, just don't waste your time doing things that your parents want you to do or that your school wants you to do if you don't naturally want to do them.
Absolutely. I mean, it's hard to like find what you want to do, and I haven't found it, that's for sure. But the things that I have a little bit of interest in, I'm at least diving into those, and I think it's better than diving into nothing.
Definitely,
That's
definitely.
like my best piece of
And
advice, if it's anything.
trying a bunch of different shit too. Talking to a
Underrated.
bunch of different people, 100,
Underrated.
100%.
Um, I this sucked because I didn't have a lot of time, but I would definitely be down to do a part two if you're ever looking
Yeah,
for that.
definitely. I'm down to do part two, part three, part 600. I don't care. Let's do it. All right. This was awesome, man. Like I said, shoot me your information and I'll tag it under,
For sure.
and let's do it again.
I'm down for it, Reed. Thanks for a lot for having me on.
Cool, man. Have a good one.
Have a good one. See ya.